Hey guys, welcome to this video where I'm going to share with you three style aesthetics that continue to perform well on platforms such as Poshmark and eBay, whatnot, Depop, Mercari, or whichever you sell your clothing on. So I wanted to create this video, and I'm going to create a small series, perhaps 3 videos that cover these different style aesthetics, because these are terms that for some of us, and I know because when I talk to you guys, you ask me about this, some of us don't know about these style aesthetics even though they've been around. Right, and we see the terms used on magazines and blogs and all that stuff. We still don't really understand what these styles are. So I wanted to create the videos to help you understand them, and give you tools to connect with more buyers, because perhaps you know what you're doing and you know what you're selling, but then you have these items that maybe they're a little stale in your store, or that you have access to, because not all the time we can find what we want, right? And we have access to all these other things, and it's always good to learn new areas where we can expand and where we can reach more customers, right? To have diversity, right? And not only sell to one category, right? So I wanted to create these videos to share this information with you and hopefully help you understand that there's other opportunities out there, and you have so much access to them. And the great thing about these style aesthetics that I'm going to share today and in the upcoming videos is that it doesn't matter that much the brand. So it can be any brand really, as long as it matches this style aesthetic. And also, it doesn't matter much if if the piece is old or new or vintage or whatever, as long as they match this vibe, this style that people are looking for, they're willing to buy them, and they're willing to pay good money for it, right? So it's amazing because sometimes you have pieces that they're very low cost for you, and you can sell them for very good money because there's value in it, because people really are looking for them to wear a particular style. Okay, so today I'm going to focus on 3, like I said, and I have my notes here because okay, so today we're going to focus. The first one is going to be the Y2K. So we have heard this many times, right? The Y2K. And Y2K is actually my time period. When I was a teenager, this was my style. This is what we wore. And it's I have my notes here, so I'm going to share with you, and you can write some of these things, but I want to let you know, because of this, I've been trying to use this for a long time now, and I've been seeing the results. I created a little guide that I'm selling on my Etsy shop with keywords to this particular style aesthetics, because when I list, I want to know what are the keywords that are going to connect me to those buyers. And I created a free guide that is attached to it where I go over these styles, so you kind of have reference until they're innate in you, right? That you know them like the palm of your hand. So if you're interested on that, I'm going to leave a link below. It's super affordable because this is the guide that I created for myself. And I was like, you know what? Maybe other people want to use it too, because I use it all the time and I love it. It's very simple, direct, and it just gives me those words that I need to include in my listings to connect to those people. So, and I talk about these people like they're other people. They're my people too. But sometimes you don't identify with particular styles, or you don't know about them, right? So it's great to continue to learn and expand this, right? This knowledge base. So the first one is the Y2K. The Y2K is a nostalgic aesthetic, right? That blends a futuristic and playful style from the late 90s and early 2000s. Okay, so think about Britney Spears, think about the Matrix. It's a mix of playfulness, right, with this futuristic thing. So think about Britney and think about the Matrix. It's a style that people are wearing pieces that they have materials that look futuristic, like metallics and PVC, right? Or leather or fishnet, right? That is kind of like the vibe, this futuristic vibe. That was the time when people were like, oh, the millennia and Y2K and all this stuff about technology, right? So a lot of people, right, are searching for this kind of style. And like I said, it doesn't have to be a piece that it's new, it's brand new. In fact, people are valuing, right, a lot if it's from actually that time period. But if it's not from that time period, but it reflects that style, people still want it. Okay, so it's really something, because then you can find pieces at your local thrift store that you think are not valuable or that perhaps are very low cost for you, but someone in the internet is looking for that particular piece because they want to wear that style, and you can find it for them. So Y2K, my friends, Y2K is one that is easily accessible to you and that a lot of people are searching for. And the more fun the piece, the more, because there's a lot of unique pieces out there, people want them. So heads up, just so you know. Okay, the other ones, because I have a list here of the different ones I'm going to tackle, and I kind of group these ones together because they're similar. Okay, they're similar but different. So the second one is the Y3K. The Y3K is more about thinking about the year 3000, the future. Okay, so the Y2K was the future that we thought back then, right, in the 2000s. But the Y3K is the future that we're thinking now about that future, right? So it's even more futuristic, okay? So think about someone like Lady Gaga, right? That has a very particular style and has those boots and metallics again. Very, very futuristic, very, very unique. Let me see here to share some particular things with you from my notes. So I have here, this is an aesthetic that imagines what fashion would look like in the year 3000. Okay, this style is all about sleek, forming silhouettes, right? So everything very fitted, and metallic PVC details again, bold colors, and unconventional accessories. Okay, so examples: The Matrix again and Lady Gaga. So they can be very similar to the Y2K, but they're even more futuristic. And sometimes you find pieces that fit both things, and you can list them as both things if it matches, right? But some pieces you find them and you clearly see them like, no, this is a 90s piece. This is a piece that Britney Spears used to wear around that time. That's a Y2K piece, but it could be a Y3K too. I remember the iconic bodysuit, right? Red bodysuit that she wore in that music video for, I think it was Oops, I Did It Again. That's a piece, right? She wore with boots, and that's a very Y2K piece, but for me, it's even more of like a Y3K piece, right? Very futuristic. So you can list them as both, and there are people looking for that kind of pieces, right? And you find them, you have access to them. I see them all the time. Perhaps not that bodysuit in particular, right? But stuff with fishnets, stuff with, again, PVC, maybe those leather jackets that are very fitted. Like there's different pieces that you can find, and you have access to them. And there's people looking for this because they want to reflect this style. Okay. And then the third one I wanted to touch on, which is also a little bit of similar, is the grunge style aesthetic. So let me read it to you so you get the details. Grunge is more of a rebellious aesthetic, okay, that shows, let me see here. Yes, that it's very anti-fashion and is very 90s again, but 90s Seattle, like that atmosphere of being kind of like a rocker, being kind of a rebellious person. And the style is about layering and oversized fits. Think about, flannel shirts over band t-shirts and those baggy jeans, and again boots, like thick boots, right? It's kind of like that atmosphere of like rockers, singers, rebellious singers, some acid rock, like strong rock. So an example, the perfect example, it's Nirvana, for example. Nirvana is that vibe. The music, the band, is that vibe, right? The little bit darkness, and again the PVC and the leather and flannel and these darker colors and textures, also bold colors, but like a darker kind of feel. That's grunge, right? So three styles to think about. They kind of overlap a little bit, but you can see, this is more Nirvana, like this rocker style, or is this more of like a futuristic 3000 future view of the world, fashion for the world, or this is more of like a nostalgia of the 90s and 2000s. So let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you want to learn more about them, or you have any questions. Like I said, I created a guide with keywords for each of them, so you can infuse your listings with them. And I'm gonna do another video covering other ones. So let me know if you have a question about any particular style that you see out there. You're like, what are they talking about? Because before, people would talk about being classic or being trendy or being whatever, right? Like there's different retro, but now they use these new words, right? To talk about these styles like Y2K and Y3K and grunge. Grunge is a little bit more classic, I would say. It's been around for a long time, but still some of us, right, we don't understand when we check out different magazines and different blog posts, and people talk about having this grungy style, and we're like, what are they talking about? So I just wanted to make sure that you guys that follow me here are clear with this, because I know you might have some amazing pieces in your closet that match these aesthetics and that you can sell right away if you use the right keywords. So I just wanted to let you know. Okay, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next one, okay? Bye, guys.